Hey everyone, welcome to the Super Review Show's mixed bag, coming to you live once again from the J Cave. I am joined, and as always forever will be, joined by my good man, Bill Murphy.
What's going on, folks? JT, by the way, there was something we forgot to mention last week.
What's that, Bill? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that we the best podcast. We the best podcast.
We the best podcast.
Yes. Sorry.
We are the best podcast.
We are the best podcast. Of course, we the best podcast. So happy Bill is joining us here once again. In the live once again. So we are doing our part 2 discussion of our music through the decades discussion here. We're discussing part 2 of our discussion of our 5-part discussion is of the 70s. We are going to be talking about the 70s tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Everything from disco to rock and roll to punk rock to you name it. We're going to talk about it tonight. I'm excited to do this. Bill is excited as well. And we're going to get into it in just a second, but just to preface what we're saying here by saying this. The 70s, coming out of the 1960s, as far as music goes, you had so much incredible music in the 1960s with the Beatles, with Motown, with the Rolling Stones, with all of these other like artists in general that just are ridiculously awesome in their own right. And going into the year 1968, 1969, like the first couple years in the 70s, truthfully, were very dark times for the music industry. I mean, you lost a lot of people. You lost Jim Morrison of the Doors. You lost was it Janis Joplin? You lost Jimi Hendrix. They're all so early. You lost them so early on. And
wait, okay, we're good.
We're good. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you.
Of course, I was just telling everyone how the early part of the 70s, so many people were dying. I mean, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison. We lost Janis Joplin. We lost the Beatles. I mean, but out of all of and we lost a bunch of 60s groups like the Dave Clark Five broke up by that point. Cream had disbanded and Eric Clapton went solo. A lot of sadness in music in the early part of the 70s, truthfully. But we got the music we got back then, and we're going to talk about a lot of it tonight. Bill, what are some of your initial thoughts going into the 70s discussion tonight for music?
Well, as you said, a lot of those 60s icons were, the Beatles had broken up. Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, all of them were dying.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had disco.
Disco's not that bad, truthfully. I actually like it a lot. But
I have a love-hate relationship with it.
I mean,
we had disco, we had, we still had Motown, but they were starting to sort of wind down a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
Like, I'm sure we'll be talking about that in this program, but yeah, the 70s were a interesting time when it came to it was an interesting time when it came to music, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, the later part of the decade, we got Van Halen's debut. It came out like 78. We're going to get into all this stuff in a minute. We're going to start, obviously, talking about tonight. Well, we touched on some of the deaths. I want to talk about the early part of the 70s. Whether it be let's delve into it. Let's start off with some of the rock groups we like, shall we, Bill?
Well, let us do that.
So look, how could we not talk about this guy still has Hot 100 hits to this day? Elton John. Let's talk about him first.
We did so. You forgot something.
What I forgot?
Sir Elton John.
Oh, excuse me.
There's 3 people whose names we have to address them by their titles.
Sir Paul McCartney.
Sir Elton John. And Dr. Matt Hemsley.
And Dr. Matt Hemsley, our dear friend, Dr. Matt Hemsley.
Those are 3 people whose names we have to address by their title.
Yes, absolutely, buddy. Absolutely.
Oh, and Dr. Otis Williams. We have to call him
Dr. Otis Williams of the Temptations, of course.
Oh, yeah, okay. But, so there's a few people whose names we have to address by their full and proper titles.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, Sir Elton John just had a hit again in the 21st century. He just had a Hot 100 with one of his songs off his most recent album that has been charting like crazy. But his career started though in the 70s.
Yes, it did.
I mean, how could we forget how, like, you think about his first album was 1969, but his second album, which was called Elton John, whatever, it had to hit Your Song on it, and Your Song took off. Then Tiny Dancer, then Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word, then Goodbye Yellow Brick Road,
Crocodile Rock, Daniel.
You could make a greatest hits playlist of just his 70s hits, and you could be hooked forever. He is just that good of a composer. And you know, it's funny. He did not write any of the lyrics to his songs.
No, it was all by Bernie Taupin.
Correct. Bernie Taupin wrote all the lyrics. He was the musician. He was the musical guy, part of it. But Elton John did all the music. But Bernie Taupin wrote all the lyrics to all of his songs. And I got to tell you, they have composed some of the greatest possible songs of all time. Your Song.
Oh, I don't debate you on that.
Answer. No. When you talk about legends, he's up there for sure as one of the greatest of all time. He just had a hit a couple weeks ago. It's September of 2022. He had a hit on the Hot 100 in 2022. How many 75-year-olds do you see doing that?
Not a lot of them.
None. Barely any.
Zip.
At all. Zilch. Nada. Come on. Let's be real. But Elton John, I had the privilege of not meeting him personally, but meeting his band in 2019. It's funny. I want to tell this story because Bill was at the show too. So
yes.
Bill, it was his 70th Madison Square Garden performance. Super excited about the show. I'm not going to disclose who this person is in my life, but so-and-so got VIP tickets and met us there for me and my family to go see Elton John at his 70th Madison Square Garden show in 2019. And that being said, we got to meet the band. We got to meet Davy Johnstone. We got to meet Nigel Olsen as drummer. We got to meet the whole band in backstage. And I've told this story before in the Super Review Show. One of the coolest moments of my life was actually but he was just in the VIP lounge standing right behind me. That was as close to a superstar I've ever literally physically gotten to, which was Michael Stipe of REM. We'll get to him when he talked about the 80s. But
REM was more 90s though, right?
Their first album was 1982.
Okay, I guess we'll talk about them next week when we talk about the 80s.
We'll talk. The 80s should be a long discussion, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, Michael Stipe was at the show. He stood right behind me. He was just talking about the stock market or how whatever it was doing. But
just quick question. Did you want to turn around and go, oh, hi, Michael Stipe. Hi, nice to meet you.
My aunt, it's funny. The person I was with literally said, do not talk to him. I don't know him. I said, okay. As much as I wanted to talk
to opportunity to get to know him.
I was like, Michael Stipe of REM, I love you to death. Your band is one of the biggest influences in my life. Come on, So I don't know. But it was something. But Elton John, though, put on a hell of a show at Madison Square Garden that night. And Bill and I were thoroughly entertained, of course.
Yeah, okay. But I just want to say for the record, I wasn't with him. I was with my family. So
yes, correct. Bill was with his family and I was with my family. But we saw the show together to an extent, and we loved it. I mean, the guy
was amazing.
He could still kill it this late in his career.
Like I was like just sitting there mesmerized.
Yeah, I mean, incredible, right? Yeah, incredible performance by Elton John.
It was, and the funniest thing, how I got tickets to that show. It's actually a funny story. Can I tell it really quick? Um,
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
um, I remember like a year before, my parents got tickets to see him in Boston,
Okay.
and I'm like, "Wait, just you two?" Because I wanted to see him. Sorry, we kind of want to go by ourselves. I'm like, fine. And then about a few days later, we were at my grandmother's birthday dinner, and a couple of my parents, I told them, "Oh, we're going to go see Elton John next November in Boston." Yeah, my parents had to get tickets like a year in advance. Um, and, and my aunt was like saying, "Oh, I want to try to go." Two of my aunts and one of my uncles were talking like, "Oh, I want to try to. Oh, I want to try to get tickets to see him in March at the Barclays Center." And my other aunt was like, "Ooh, I'd like to go." And then my uncle, "Oh, count me in." And then I remember saying, "Wait, you guys are trying to get tickets to see Elton John at the Barclays?" And my aunt goes, "Yep." And there's an awkward silence, and my aunt goes, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "Okay, we'll keep in touch." And you're thinking, is it really going to happen, or is it one of those? I'm just going to say this to keep you happy and shut you up. Then like a couple weeks later, she texts me going, "Hey, you want to go Elton John, March 6th, the Garden? You in?" I'm like, "Yes, so in." And that was, honest to God, one of the greatest concerts I've ever seen in my life.
He does put on a great show, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, and it was just such an amazing show. And knowing that he's on his farewell tour, don't despair, folks. He'll be on it for another 20 years.
Yeah, he'll be on it for until like 2026. If he's trying to hit every venue, then forget it. So
yeah, I've said this before, and knock on wood, this man will die before he retires.
Literally, he's so iconic. He's so like everything. But
this man will literally die before he retires.
Yeah, literally. It's actually crazy. So
yeah, he's gonna die before he retires because I really don't think he wants to say goodbye.
No, I mean, he has 2 young kids at home now, like they're adopted, but he loves them, and he wants to spend the rest of his life with them. So there's that. I mean, if your dad is Elton John, then come on. So I mean,
well, because he's one of those people who had, became a parent later in his life.
Yeah, with his husband. I think David is his name. I don't even know.
David Furnish, yes.
Yes. So this is why we have Bill here.
And you know who their godmother is?
Who, Bill?
Lady Gaga.
I did not know that. How about that?
And I remember I actually saw Lady Gaga on an interview with Ellen DeGeneres, and they were talking about that, going, "Wow, the way he used to dress and the way you dress, those 2 kids are going to grow up, and they're going to grow up and go, why is everybody so boring?" Because back in the 70s, Elton used to have the big flashy costumes.
Oh yeah, if back in the 70s he was so crazy on stage. I mean, literally he would be like crazy costumes. He wore like a giant duck outfit at one point at like Live Aid. It's crazy times for him. He's always been very flamboyant with his personality, if you will.
But his 70s stuff is absolutely great.
I mean, his performance, his music in the 70s, just in general, is fantastic. I mean, it's so good. And like, I was just listening to it before we started our live stream tonight, and Tiny Dancer. Somebody saved my life tonight. Sorry seems to be the hardest word. Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding. The guy is Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. I mean, come on. He is a legend and forever will be a legend, even if he doesn't retire or does retire. I don't know. He's on a farewell tour, but hey, it's been going on since 2018, 2019. So there you go. But honestly, and just his music is timeless. It'll stand the test of time forever and ever. Truthfully, honest to God.
Yes.
So
His music is timeless, and whenever he does retire, his music will never be forgotten.
exactly, like there are radio stations, FM or AM, even XM, that will play his music forever, literally ever. So it's crazy.
Forever
and ever. So that's all we. Your excuse. That's all we got for Elton John. Let's jump over to the other piano player who also wrote hit songs.
We talked about
Billy
the
Joel.
piano, the Rocket Man. Now we talk about
the Piano Man. One of my favorite artists of all time.
Mine too, Mr. William Joel.
Regardless of what you think about him, the dude is also a legend of stature as well.
Wait. People don't like Billy Joel?
In some sort, I feel like some people don't like. Some people that might not like his some of his songs. I get it, but it's like at the same time, it's like, this dude has had a lot of. The dude is one of the most successful singer-songwriters of all time. And his most recent album was 1993, and people are still listening to him.
And that was River of Dreams, right?
Correct. The River of Dreams was his last album in 1993. We'll touch on his career briefly, if you will. But what can you say about him? I mean, he's 72 or 73 now, or I forget, but no, he'll be 73 this year. I forget. Anyways, now back in his birthday's May 9th. I know that, but I'm not. I know 1949. So I'm just trying to do the math in my head. Whatever, I'll figure it out. But regardless, though, Billy Joel started out in the 70s. His first album was 1971 with Cold Spring Harbor, and it was not a big success. In fact, the original pressings of it, I don't know if you knew this, the original pressings actually sounded horrible. They actually accidentally sped up the recordings in the mastering process. If you find those pressings, they're worth a lot of money of that vinyl, but it has She's Got Away, and that's about it. And what can you say? I mean, first album was that, but also Piano Man turns, I think, 50 years old next year?
Yeah.
Because the album came out in 1960. He wrote the song in 72, which was 50 years ago. So he wrote the song that was released in 1973. So put this in context, people. Piano Man has about 600, more than half of 1 billion streams on Spotify. Half of 1 billion. And the song turns 50 next year in 2023.
Yeah. That was the song that officially put him on the map.
Absolutely. 100% in 1973. I mean, he's had a ton of success in the 80s and into the 90s, but after that, he didn't put out any other content, which I respect him for.
The 70s today. You know what? It's kind of hard talking about people like Elton John and Billy Joel. It's kind of hard to talk about, to stick to one decade, because they have had so much success in like the 80s and in the 90s.
Exactly.
It's kind of hard to just talk about one decade today. It really is.
I know. We're for the most part, we're sticking to the 70s no matter what, but we're going to I don't know. Well, all I'm saying though is that Billy Joel is one of the best artists ever. And a singer-songwriter, you look at any of his songs and you'll know one of his songs because they're so catchy, they're so well written. Truthfully, they're very well written. And it's funny, I look up some of this stuff online. His demographic at his concerts now are all across the board. People bring their little kids. People bring, like, there was like in the front row, if I'm not mistaken, at this most recent Madison Square Garden show was literally 20-year-old girls in the front row.
Really?
Like, and on top of that, Olivia Rodrigo shows up and sings with him, which is pretty crazy.
Do you think it's kind of a weird example of pandering? Like, hey, young people, Olivia Rodrigo. I'm hip. I'm with it.
I can't believe that he, like, one thing, but just want to let you know, as most of you may or may not, we're in the New York area. I'm not telling you where we are specifically, but like we are in the New York area within reasonable distance to New York City. If you have not seen him, yeah, we literally hop on the train. But if you have not seen Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden or have not seen him yet, he is going to Bill, I'm working on it. I swear. I promise. We'll go together.
I know, buddy. I know. Like, you and I were actually talking about going to that most recent show, but that was the day I was away and you had to do mixed bag without me.
Exactly. So I was like, all right, well, we can't do that. But don't worry. We're going to find a day.
That day. But
yeah. But Bill and I are going to go see Billy Joel together one day, and we're going to have the time of our life seeing the Piano Man.
Could be a good time.
It'll be my fourth time seeing him in overall, but he's always a good time. If you've not seen him at the Garden, what he's doing there, just want to let you guys know, put this in context. The dude is literally like 70-something years old. If you put into context the fact that he's been doing this, he's been selling at Madison Square Garden since 1978. If you put this in context for a sec, he is literally selling out Madison Square Garden pretty much his whole life. And his current run will hit its 100th consecutive sellout show in February of 2024. 100 sold out. In this run, it'll hit its 100th show in February of 2024. I looked it up already. He didn't even announce it yet because he's got to get through all of 2023. The rest of this year, 2023. And then 2024 will be his 100th consecutive sellout in this run.
His shows haven't been sold out yet, so
no, they're still announcing dates. He literally told the Garden people, as long as there's a demand, I'll play. You're an idiot. You're going to be there forever. Let's put it that way. And he brings out guests and stuff. So he's brought out Olivia. Most recent one was Olivia Rodrigo. He brought out Sting. He's brought up Bruce Springsteen. He's brought up Brian Johnson of AC/DC. He's brought out It's Perma, the world's greatest violinist. You name it, the dude's great. I mean, if you've not seen him at all, see him while you can, because he's at the Garden in New York City every single month, and it's incredible what he's doing. Will probably never be done again, for lack of a better word.
Probably not, my friend. Probably not.
Like a New York artist selling at Madison Square Garden as many. I was at his 100th lifetime show, and it was incredible. Again, he brought up Bruce Springsteen, of course, but which we'll get to.
And I remember you said there was like a young kid in front of you, and you're like, "Do not forget this."
Yeah.
Am I right
so
there,
what
JT?
Bill's bringing up is that
you told the young kid in front of you
I was at the show.
Springsteen came on. Do not forget this.
The kid next to me, there was a little kid next to me. It was his first concert ever. His first show ever. And I said, do not ever forget this. I told them, I said, don't ever forget this, because I never will either. It may never happen again. Don't ever forget this moment, because it may never happen again. So.
And they changed around the words to 10th Avenue Freeze Out. Goes something to... The original line is when the big man joined the band. They changed it to when the piano man joined the band.
I still get chills from that. It's crazy.
I love Bill. I would have had a freak out too, buddy. I would have freaked out too.
I have to take you.
Yes, you do.
At some point, I will take you.
We will go.
We'll go next summer or something like that. I promise. I promise, Bill. I promise.
I'm going to hold you to that. You know that, right?
Oh God! Now the next available date in like January, February. I'm gonna have to get 2 tickets, aren't I?
Well, this is an off-air discussion.
Yes, we'll figure it out. But long story short, Billy Joel's music, The Strangers, a great album. 52nd Street, Turnstiles. Just get on the bandwagon of Billy Joel if you can.
Wait, was Turnstiles 70s or 80s?
76.
Yeah, because that's because he lived in LA for a while. That's what inspired him to write Piano Man. But Turnstiles was all about him going back to New York.
Yeah, he wrote New York State of Mind in Highland Falls, New York, hence Summer Highland Falls. Just saying.
Because it was around the time when New York City was about to go bankrupt.
Yep.
and they asked President Ford at the time to bail them out, and he said no. And Billy Joel said when he was in Los Angeles, he said all these people going, New York's going down the tubes, and a lot of these former New Yorkers. So thank God we got out of there. And he said, you know what? F you guys. If New York's going down, I'm going down with it. I'm going back. And he did. Like the opening track of that song, which I actually think is a pretty underrated song. Say Goodbye to Hollywood.
Such a great song.
Say goodbye to Hollywood. Say goodbye, my baby.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Say goodbye to Hollywood. Say goodbye, my baby. And New York State of Mind was about him singing about how happy he is to be back in New York.
Yep.
Yeah. And my favorite 70s Billy Joel album is The Stranger.
Yes. How could it not be?
I love the track Vienna. I think a very underappreciated song, Vienna.
I agree. It was in a movie, but 13 Going on 30, and then it caught wind again. So, yeah.
Scenes from Italian Restaurant was off that album, right?
Literally in my top 10 favorite songs of all time.
But
literally in my top 10 favorite songs of all time is Scenes from Italian Restaurant. Never heard anything else like it.
The official anthem about the people who peaked in high school.
Literally. Just straight up.
But my favorite song from that album has got to be Only the Good Die Young.
It's such a great song. So fun.
And it was a controversial song at first because the Archbishop of St. Louis actually banned the song because the opening line, "Come out, Virginia, don't let me wait, you Catholic girls start much too late." The Archbishop was like, "Don't play this, we're banning it." And then a bunch of college kids literally ran out and bought the song, and it became a hit.
Which is actually really funny, yeah.
And then he literally wrote a letter to the Archbishop and said, "Thank you very much. Please ban my next record."
It's so true. It actually happened.
Said, anyone can get a number one hit, but it takes someone special to get their record banned.
Damn right.
So, folks, any aspiring musicians out there, get your record banned. That'll really do good for you.
Oh, yeah. Make sure your music is banned so that way your music can sell great.
Am I right?
You're right. All right. But Billy Joel, one of the greatest singer-songwriters of all time. He wrote all of his songs by himself. He wrote all of the lyrics, all the music. He did everything on his own, which is great, great stuff. So we probably got we got a couple more artists to talk about in the 70s, and then we'll get to other stuff as well. But let's talk tonight about one of the biggest, most successful acts emerging out of the early 70s. How could we not talk about this? You briefly talked about this when we talked about Billy Joel's 100th Madison Square Garden show. But
we have to talk about your Lord and Savior, Bruce Springsteen, don't we?
We have to talk about Jesus Christ himself. we have no, I'm kidding. But I mean, how could we not talk about Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band? Quite possibly the greatest live act and cover band of all time. They started out in the 70s, and Born to Run, my favorite song, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite song of all time is Born to Run. Deal with it, all you heavy metal haters out there, or likers, whatever you want to call yourself. Born to Run, quite possibly one of the best songs of all time, too. Hands down.
And
end of discussion. No further debate.
But JT...
Motley Crue, no.
What about Metallica?
I love Metallica is fantastic though.
We'll talk about them in the 90s.
We'll talk about them in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, don't worry. Maybe in the 80s. Well, 80s and 90s particularly. They'll overlap. But Bruce, I've gone on record and I've said this before. How many things can you do for 4 hours and be entertained by it? How many things can you see for 4 hours for $25 an hour and enjoy thoroughly for 4 hours of live entertainment? How many concerts play for 4? I like the 2 hour shows. Get off of here.
I'm JT. The 2-hour shows are great because I get home at a reasonable hour. I get to drink my warm milk and go to bed.
He played for 4 hours. 4 hours of live music. I like to see Motley Crue do that. They're playing 15 songs a night right now on their stadium tour. Okay, cool, whatever. I love Def Leppard to death. I like to see Def Leppard play for 4 hours straight. They play for 2.5, killing it. I like to see them play for 4 hours.
He actually played a show one time. They had to shut the power off.
They literally, that's a true story. They literally, they were playing for 4 hours and 10 minutes in Finland. They cut his mic off. They were like, dude, get off the stage. And he was still going. That was 10 years ago in 2012.
He's like, can y'all hear me? Okay, I'll keep going.
It was 4 hours.
For a while, you run out of songs, though.
He played 38 songs. Even Paul McCartney has said it himself. He's like, look, Bruce has got energy. He plays for 4 hours. And he started in the 70s. The man is in his 70s. Oh, my God. I can go on about him all day. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see a great show coming up, go see Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on their 2023 tour. You will not be disappointed. That's the thing. You don't even have to know the music. You can just go and be the people. They say the people who don't see him, who are, and they're changed by his experience by seeing him live, are called Bruce virgins.
You never forget your first time, huh?
You never forget your first time at a Bruce Springsteen concert. It's the truth, though. The man plays for 4 hours. How many things can you do for 4 hours? How many artists can play? Not many artists play for that long, anyways. Sometimes like 2.5, maybe 3. His shows are. He goes out there. He said it on record. He's like, we know we're gonna do 3, but anytime after 3.5 or 3 hours and 40 minutes, it's just whatever it is. I'm like, dude, you're like 70 something years old, and you're gonna play for 4 hours? Hell yeah, let's go. So I have to take Bill to see that as well. Just
God, I'm gonna be busy next year, huh?
Bill and I are going to go see Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band later next year. But he started in the 70s, but we're taking it back. Started in the 70s, one of the best. And plus, even people today who people who in certain circles like, oh yeah, I'm not a fan of this music, but he still puts on the best show. Just saying, there are people who have gone to different types of shows and seen him and like, that was the best show I've ever seen.
Yeah, my very dear friend, Mr. Vinny Levine. Vinny, if you are watching, shout out to you, my friend.
Love you, Vinny.
He saw him 8 times.
Not fair, man.
And every time I tell JT, he gets very jealous.
That's crazy.
And
it's crazy.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I'd see him, but I'm hearing tickets are mad expensive, I heard.
We'll work on that together, buddy. Don't worry.
We'll work on that. Okay, if he says we're going to work on that, we're going to work on that. So this is the time where I shut my mouth and don't question anything.
I kid you not, Bill. The backlash has been crazy online about his ticket prices. But true story, if you want to get a ticket to any one of these shows, just wait till the day of the show because the prices drop like 50% by then. On all the tickets. Regardless of what it is.
Day of the show.
If you wait like the day before the show, the day of the show, buy the tickets that morning, then you're good. Then the prices drop so significantly. I'm tired of people bitching and moaning about this online. So, because like literally just have to wait.
How bad is it on online forums right now?
There's backlash, a lot of backlash. But regardless, though, I'm not getting into it. If you go see him, you're a Bruce virgin if you have not seen him yet, and you're gonna flip out if you see him live. So,
okay, if I see him with you next year,
which you will, I'm just letting you know, right, Bill. There's no option. Like when he announces those MetLife Stadium dates, we're going.
Okay, when I see him with you next year, there is no if, is there?
There's no if. I'm just letting you know.
There's no if, ands,
or buts.
So
just want to let you guys know. My full disclosure,
even if I have to miss Sports Insanity podcast that night, I'll go.
You have 4 hours off. You can do it. Just saying.
Okay.
But yeah,
So I just
one
want
of
to
the
get, if that shows on a Monday night and JT takes me, I want to apologize to Dan Ryans and aka Danny Boy Reginald and Lawrence Pashman Lang. I want to
Yes.
apologize, but actually, no. Sorry,
Yes.
not sorry.
I've said this on record in my own time, and but the fact of the matter is that Bill, I've said this when I'm saying it on air. I don't really care. So I'm gonna take to go see Bruce Springsteen, the street band. Me, Bill, my father, my uncle, and my lovely girlfriend. We're all gonna go together. We're getting 5 tickets, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. We're all going together. Nothing. We're gonna we're going to enjoy ourselves that night. We will build this thing together, and we've done another. Nothing's gonna stop us now.
Sorry, that was calling my name.
I know, it's okay. But yeah, bottom line, Bruce Springsteen.
Nothing's gonna stop us now.
This is why we do the show together.
Or ain't no stopping us now. Because I know that song was in the 70s. We're on the move.
Oh my God. Anyways, Bruce Springsteen came out of the 70s, ladies and gentlemen, one of the top tier artists of the world, one of the best of all time, regardless of what people think of him. He is widely regarded as one of the best artists of all time. No stopping it.
No.
But
he is.
What can you say?
You know what? My dad actually saw him on the Born in the USA tour.
So did my dad.
Everything is connected.
Secretly,
it's all connected.
Yes, sir. But yeah, so Bruce Springsteen, classic artist, one of the best of all time, and the 70s. How could you not? So, but we got a couple more artists to talk about for the 70s, and a couple more actually.
Couple more. We got a lot to talk about.
Our other genres.
I know we're gonna hear all the surface.
I know, this is ridiculous. All right, shall we talk about another band, or a couple more bands from the 70s? Truthfully, why don't we talk about Queen?
Why don't we talk about Queen? Yeah, we
should.
You
go first, Bill.
Okay, one of my favorite bands of all time.
Me too.
You know, John Deacon, Roger Taylor, Brian May, and of course, the greatest rock frontman of all time, the greatest rock vocalist of all time. And I am making that statement now. I am making this statement today, Wednesday, September 7th, on this year, in this year of our Lord 2022 at 8:21 p.m. Freddie Mercury is the greatest rock vocalist of all time.
Steve Perry, anyone? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, if, ands, or buts.
Oh, damn. He's going that far. Queen? Her Majesty?
No, I would say Freddie Mercury is the greatest rock vocalist of all time.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Like, if you watch this man in live footage,
yeah,
how he interacts with the crowd, it's just absolutely, it's something else. They actually first started off as a band called Smile, that Brian and was it Smile? I forgot the name of the band was, but Brian May and Roger Taylor were in it. Their lead singer left, and then Freddie Mercury came and took over, and then they got John Deacon, and they became Queen. And their first big hit was, of course, Stone Cold Crazy.
Yeah.
Then Killer Queen.
Such great stuff.
The song that put him on the map.
Bohemians.
6 glorious minutes.
Oh yeah.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
People forget that's from the 70s.
Yeah, 1975. They didn't think it was going to be a hit. They didn't think it was going to be they didn't think it was going to get radio play because it was 6 minutes long. You know, because the record executive said nobody's going to listen to a song for 6 bloody minutes. And Freddie took the song to a friend of his who was a radio DJ and played the whole song. And then the rest, they say,
is history.
And that was a song that really launched Queen into mainstream stardom.
Absolutely. Nothing quite like them.
And then, of course, probably their most recognizable song, the We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions.
Oh, of course.
This band, and we're specifically talking about them in the 70s, but in the 80s, they rocked it. And then, sadly, in the 90s, Freddie Mercury passed away. And then Paul Rodgers filled in. And then eventually Adam Lambert filled in.
Yep. What's your favorite Queen song?
From the 70s or just in general?
From the 70s.
What other Queen 70s? Just battle some off right now besides Bohemian and
Somebody to Love, Keep Yourself Alive, Killer Queen. Hold on a sec. I think Tie Your Mother Down. Those are some ones right there.
I would say from the 70s, and I know it's pretty generic. I'm gonna have to say Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay. My personally is Somebody to Love.
That's a good one too. No, that's a really good one.
I love that song. It's so fun.
Is it Someone to Love, JT?
But I'm bing. So
did you find somebody to love with that song? Can anybody find me somebody to love?
Somebody to love. It's so good. It's so good. It's just so good. It's such a great song. Overall, You're My Best Friend too. That's a great one.
No, was that the 70s or?
That was on the album with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Ooh, you're making me live.
I like that one a lot, actually. And Tie Your Mother Down too. I mean, come on, hard rocking Brian May right there with guitar riffs.
Tie your mother down. Tie your mother down.
Oh yeah, ripping it.
Great. Absolutely great.
Quite possibly one of the best bands of all time too.
I'm not debating you on that, JT. I am totally not debating you on that. You know why? Because you're right. And hello, JT. Oh no, not again. Hello, you there?
I'm here. Hey everyone.
Hey, what just happened?
I don't know. That was weird. Anyways, we're back though. We're back. We're back, everyone. We're back.
Okay. So yeah, I am not going to debate you on that. Queen is one of the greatest bands of all time.
Oh yeah, 100%, buddy. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry about that, everyone.
Yeah, and that was the official start of glam rock. Once you think about it,
it really was. Yeah. Oh, I mean, Queen is just up there for sure. It's one of the best bands ever. So, how could we not talk about this? How can we not talk about this next one, Bill?
Ooh, who's it?
And I'm seeing them tomorrow.
Oh, is it who I think it is?
It's
Are you going to
Aerosmith.
teach me how to walk this way?
Walk this way. Walk
Talk
this way.
way.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's starting to hit me now. So for those of you who don't know, I'm seeing Aerosmith. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm seeing Aerosmith live September 8th at their 50th anniversary show in Boston, Massachusetts. I don't know if
Did
you believe
just
that, but
randomly just get the tickets? Like, okay, I'll get these tickets. I'll go all the way to Boston for this.
it's a big deal. I'm a huge fan of Aerosmith, and I'm seeing them. Their 50th anniversary is from 2020, but their 50th anniversary show was postponed from 2020 to 2022.
Say it with me. Say it together, folks. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, COVID. So, but yeah, I'm seeing Aerosmith tomorrow in Boston. I'm driving up to Boston tomorrow, and I'm going to go see Aerosmith. And I'm by the way, follow us if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram, and like us on Facebook and whatnot at the Super Review Show on Twitter as well. I'm going to be doing a lot of posting up there for our social media accounts, and I cannot wait to share all this stuff with you guys. So it's going to be awesome. But I am so excited to see Aerosmith. I've never seen them live. I'm very, very curious to see how they rock and roll live. So we're going to see them live. But Bill, do you have any thoughts on Aerosmith?
You know who's a big fan of them?
Who?
My dad.
Really?
My dad's actually a big Aerosmith fan.
You should. If you tell me that I'm going to see it tomorrow, you're going to be like, what?
Yeah, no. I love Walk This Way. That's a great song.
It is. So is Toys in the Attic, the whole album.
I think my favorite Aerosmith song, this is probably very generic, but I'm going to have to say Dream On.
It's so good. I mean, they had a lot of hits in the 70s.
Every time I look in the mirror, sing with I sing for the years, sing for the laughter, sing for the tears.
It's so good. It's so good. And like Mama Kin, like they have so many hits. It's ridiculous.
Do you look like a lady?
Yeah. That's the 80s though.
Nope, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. But they're another band that had a lot of success throughout a lot of most of the decades.
They did.
They're one of the their number one hit. I Don't Want to Miss a Thing was 1998.
From Armageddon.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is insane, man. That's bloody nuts.
Bloody nuts.
Yeah, but that seems like a. I'm jealous of you. You get to see this tomorrow. That's awesome, man.
And Extreme is opening up for them.
I know wrong one.
They're from the 80s.
Words.
Yes, that's them. I'm excited though. Aerosmith, I cannot wait.
Are you going with anybody? You going back, or are you going with you yourself and you?
Me, myself, and I, buddy.
So what are you leaving like tomorrow morning to go up, or
tomorrow I'm leaving and I'm meeting up with some family and I'm gonna go see them.
Sounds like a hell of a show.
It's 50 years of Aerosmith, man. 50 years since 1970. Well, postponed from 2020. So
thanks, COVID. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this will be a good show.
I have no doubt. I mean, I believe it's gonna be. I'm really excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm really excited, but I'm curious. So
Steven Tyler,
Joe Perry, Brad Whitford.
I think they're actually doing a residency in Vegas too. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They are. Yep.
And because I'm actually going to Vegas next month, folks.
You should go see him in Vegas.
Hey, JT, you want me to do show live? Bill, live from Vegas.
Yes.
JT, I just lost about $2,000 at the casino and other things, which I cannot say because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But no, like their residency doesn't start till like November, though.
No, September. It starts later next week.
Oh, I got to look into that.
Yeah, take a look. One of the pioneering bands out there.
You know what? Because I think like in the 70s at this point, like, you know, Americans knew how to rock like in like the 50s and stuff, but like in the 60s, you know, they had their rock bands in the 60s, but they were getting their butts kicked by the Brits with the Beatles and the Stones and the Who. And I think this is the 70s when Americans started solidifying rock more, if that makes sense.
I could see that. That does make sense. Yeah. I can see that.
All right. So what's another artist we should pick?
Well,
I got someone in mind.
What? Talk to me.
Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, how could we forget them? Oh my God.
We can't forget Fleetwood Mac.
They're so good. I saw them live.
They are. I know. I hate you for it.
It's 2019, man. Sorry.
Yeah, where was my invite?
I wasn't sure. I'm sorry.
Hey, next time they're touring, you better damn well invite me.
I will. Don't worry. I will. We'll go together.
Because I would love to see them in concert. I would love to see them. I heard that they put on a great show. You should know. You saw them and I didn't.
I did. It was great.
Yeah, 3 years. I'm still holding on to that. No, but Rumors, one of the best albums ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. The Chain, great song. Never break the Never break the chain, JT. Never break the chain.
Never.
Rhiannon, great song.
Yep.
And, you know, one of the great bands that's fronted by a woman, Miss Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What is your favorite Fleetwood Mac song?
I like Go Your Own Way.
Ooh, I like that one too.
I like
me to toss up between Landslide's a really good one.
Landslide's really good.
We need to toss between Go Your Own Way and Don't Stop.
Both are great.
You know, don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll soon be here. It'll be here bigger than you thought. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone. That's an inspirational song. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow, folks.
It'll soon be here.
It'll soon be here. I heard they closed that with that song.
They do. It's great. It comes off live well, too.
You should know. Anyway, yeah, Fleetwood Mac, great band. Stevie Nicks is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I because they really got big in the 70s. And like I said, I would really want to see them in concert one day. So yeah, I think that's why we had to talk about them here. JT, any thoughts on Fleetwood?
Other than that, they're great. That's all I can say.
All right, what's your next one?
I think we've said all that we need to say as far as rock goes. No.
Yeah, I think we have. Well, there's bands like Kansas, but the only two no songs that I know are "Dust in the Wind" and "Go Carry On My Wayward Son." So,
All right, I got two more for us. Okay.
okay, because we got so much other things to talk about.
I know. We're trying to shift it a little bit to James Taylor.
The folk music.
Like the 70s. The folk boom started to pick up a little bit. Like James Taylor, which that's not my real name, but still, he's one of the best of all time too.
I don't know what it is. I kind of find his, and listen, I'm sure he's a fine fella, but I don't know. I just kind of find his music kind of boring.
That's fair. No, it's all good.
I kind of find his music a little boring. Like, listen, I'm sure James Taylor's I'm sure he's a very, I'm sure he's a very nice guy. And, I'm sure he's been doing something right. If he's so successful, he's been doing something right.
He's still tours arenas
But
and stuff.
I just find his music dull.
It's okay.
I don't know what your thoughts on him is, but like I said, I just find his music dull.
I mean, it's very folkish. It's very like, it's very 70s. I mean, he didn't have much of a career in the 80s other than just playing stuff, but I'm sure he had stuff coming out in the 80s. It's just he was more dominant in the 70s, more prominent then.
Like, I do kind of like Fire and Rain.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's an okay song, and I think it has a good message to it. But like I said, I just can't really listen to it. I just can't really listen to James Taylor. And if there's any big James Taylor fans, or if James Taylor's watching, sorry.
It's all good, bud.
It's just, you just call out my name and I'll be wherever I am. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so bored. Sometimes I feel like, actually, no, I'm not gonna say that. I don't want to be too mean. Okay, your thoughts on James Taylor? You like him, dislike him?
I go see him. I like him. I haven't seen him yet. I'd like to see him though. That's me though.
Yeah, just don't take me.
Okay, that's fine. I won't. No worries, bud.
Okay, unless there's a lot of alcohol there.
You got it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jackson Browne. What's up?
Okay, I'll admit I'm not too familiar with him, but there's are a few songs I do like. I actually do like the song "Running on Empty."
It's a great one.
If it takes all night,
Yeah,
it'll be all right. Wait, did you recently see him?
I thought about it, but I never got to see him. No.
I remember,
I never
just
saw him.
JT. If it takes all night, that'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm right.
It'll be all right, JT. If it takes all night. But no, I really like that song.
Which one?
Really do like that song, "Running on Empty," because it's a song about looking back, but it's kind of a song about looking forward once you think about it.
That is true.
And Yeah, I can't speak too much about Jackson Brown because I don't know a lot of his stuff. I know his
It's okay.
song Rosie, but I only know it for one weird reason.
Why?
Because it was parodied on The Simpsons.
Oh, all right.
That's the only reason I know it.
It's all good. I just want to mention him because he's out there as one of the best singer-songwriters out there. So
I don't know what it is with singer-songwriters with me. Someone like Elton John, Billy Joel, I can listen to. James Taylor, Jackson Brown, not so much.
it's fair. It's fair.
Because remember, we got a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, I don't really have much strong opinions about Jackson Brown, so
No worries. No worries.
I have strong opinions on like everything else, but I don't have a strong opinion on this. It's a sad day.
It's all good. There's only really one other band I could think of, and then we can go into other genres as well.
Okay.
If it's okay with you, let's talk about Electric Light Orchestra.
Okay, I don't know a lot about them, so I'm going to let you take over on this one.
Fair enough. So ELO is one of those bands that's actually really, really slightly underrated in my opinion because they have so many great songs, but there are not many people really outside of like Mr. Blue Sky on Spotify. Not many people know about them. I just want to keep it brief though, but ELO's Out of the Blue is one of the best, probably their best album. Truthfully, I mean, it's got so many great songs on it. It's Turned to Stone and like hard hitting stuff like Mr. Blue Sky as well. Sweet Talking Woman's a great track on there too. But ELO ruled the 70s. I mean, Jeff Lynne is the guy who wrote all the songs. He wrote all of the strings. They're one of the best bands out there. That I don't think they get the love they deserve, truthfully. I did a video on our YouTube channel called Why You Should Listen to Electric Light Orchestra. And I think that they're one of the best bands of the 70s. And they kind of don't get the appreciation they deserve nowadays. I don't think people, I think if ELO tours again, which I hope they do, I'm going to go see them because I heard that they put on just a great show, really awesome string section, keyboards, the band, all around great artists in general. I mean, do you have any opinion of them at all, Bill, or no?
The only really song I know is Mr. Blue Sky.
Oh, Evil Woman, Don't Bring Me Down. No.
Oh, don't bring me down. That one.
That's them. Yep.
Oh yeah, then I guess they're good.
Just like that, with one song it took them.
Yes, I am very persuadable sometimes.
It's okay, but they're great. I mean, their artwork on their albums is great.
Wait. Evil Woman. Is that Evil Woman?
Yeah. The Evil Woman.
Oh, I know that one too.
You know a couple of ELO songs. There you go.
Oh, I feel like a genius. I feel like a genius now.
Telephone Line is great too. I love Telephone Line.
I gotta go listen to them now.
It's a living thing. What a terrible thing to lose.
I gotta listen to them now. Thanks, JT.
You're welcome, Bill. There's your homework for the night. So ELO, great band overall. Highly recommend you guys check them out. So, anyways, all right, that's enough of like rock and pop for now. Let's jump over to. Should we talk about it?
Talk about what? Oh, does it start with a D and end with an O?
We're gonna talk about disco.
Ah!
John Travolta, baby. Bill is leaving the camera right now. He's hiding. He's literally hiding.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do.
JT, do we have to?
It's not bad music if you think about it.
Okay, fine. I'll come back up.
Disco is just 70s dance music if you really think about it. That's all it is. '70s dance.
Well, it's the 70s and people wearing their bell bottoms and disco came.
Yeah, like in the mid to late 70s. How can you not talk about the Bee Gees, Casey and the Sunshine Band? Come on.
I know, right?
What are some of your
Cool in the
favorites?
Gang.
Cool in the Gang. They're more like R&B funk, but they fit that disco vibe. Cool in the Gang, the Bee Gees. Who else did I say? Can't See the Sunshine Band. Who else did I say? Who else is out there? I can't think of it all of a sudden. Jackson 5 to an extent.
Oh, we'll talk about them in a little bit with the Motown and soul music.
Yeah, soul music, funk bands. But like, let's start with the
anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Bee Gees.
The Bee.
Oh, because you were asking me what's my favorite.
Do you have a favorite Bee Gees song?
I'm gonna say it's probably either Staying Alive or Night Fever.
Oh, those are good ones.
And they're both from Saturday Night Fever.
That soundtrack, if you guys have not heard of Saturday Night Fever, get on it. Saturday Night Fever is a great movie.
Get on it.
One of the best soundtracks out there ever. Some of the best pop. ABBA, anyone? I mean, come on. The late 70s was booming with dancing music. Disco Inferno by the Tramps. Donna Summer.
Wait, that was the Disco Inferno? Was the Bee Gees?
No, Disco Inferno was the Tramps. That's where it started from. You know, burn, baby, burn.
Disco Inferno.
Yeah, there we go, man. So good.
And I said I hate disco.
And you know that song, which is great. But I mean, the Bee Gees, so many great groups, guys. Like so many just incredible groups. We're going to start with the Bee Gees, though. The Bee Gees, some of the best pop of all time. Some of the best songs of all time. Staying Alive, anyone? Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Could be the defining song of the 70s. Could be.
You can handle the way I move my man. No time to talk.
Music loud and women woman kicked around since I was born, and it's all right. It's okay. You may look the other way. We can try to understand the New York Times effect on man. Sorry, I had to. It's literally a song that defined the 70s. Quite possibly the defining song of the 70s. Groovy, man.
I do not disagree.
So, but the Bee Gees up there is one of the best groups of all time. Easily. The Gibb brothers, Andy Gibb, come on.
Barry Gibb.
Yeah, Barry Gibb. It's crazy. They have so many great songs. The Bee Gees as a band are great too. Maurice, Robin, and Barry, they're all incredible musicians. I mean, two of them are dead, but still, so.
No,
but yeah.
All of them dead, or?
No, Barry Gibb's still alive as far as I know. Barry Gibb is still alive.
Barry Gibb is still alive?
Yeah, he is.
Hold on, let me. The internet exists.
Barry Gibb is still alive. He's 76. Robin Gibb is dead. He died in 2012. And Maurice Gibb died in 2003. Jeez. That's crazy. Oh, you know what we could also talk about?
I wonder if Barry Gibb still tours.
I think he does. I think he does. I think actually he still tours, if I'm not mistaken. With the Bee Gees though, check them out. If you know Staying Alive, just dig into How Deep Is Your Love, Night Fever, More Than a Woman. That's my favorite Bee Gees song. More than a woman, more than a woman to me. You know, come on, get with it, guys. So, all right, let's talk about another band.
Yep.
Ready?
What are we talking about?
Bill, do you remember?
Yes. The 21st hour of September? I do remember the 21st hour of September.
It's coming up soon. Do you remember the 21st night of September?
21st hour of September.
Now we're chasing the clouds away. Woo! Earth,
Do you
wind,
remember?
and fire.
Fire!
Literally one of the best groups ever. I saw them recently too, and they were killer.
Where'd you see them play?
I saw them at Jones Beach opening up for Santana.
How were they?
Bill, I wish you were there. Let's put it that way. It was so fun. Earth, Wind, and Fire, dude, they freaking kill it. With like everyone stands up when they hear Let's Groove and Boogie Wonderland as well.
Let's groove tonight. That one?
Yeah, but September it gets everyone up and standing.
As soon as you hear the first notes of September, nobody's sitting.
Oh yeah, everyone was
Am I
standing up
right?
by then. Absolutely. Everyone was standing up. Everyone was dancing. Everyone was just bopping their head. It was awesome. I was floored.
It's a great song. Everybody knows that in a couple weeks. It will be the 21st hour of September.
Do you remember the 21st night of September, everyone? Earth, Wind, and Fire, man. How could you? Or they were killing it in the 70s. One of the best bands out there. Still touring to this day. As I said, I just saw them.
Still touring?
Still touring. I just saw them. They were great. Great. Awesome. One of the better shows this year. And I've seen a lot of shows. They were probably my 19th or 18th show this year.
How many shows have you seen this year?
Too many. Let's be real. And I'm seeing one tomorrow.
You're not done yet.
I have like 5 or 6 more.
You're not done yet, my friend.
Not done yet. But Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire killed it. They were awesome and Santana was great too. Carlos Santana's phenomenal guitars. So, but Earth, Wind, and Fire definitely up there for sure. Some of the best dance music, some of the best songs. Do you remember the 21st night of September? It's funny. I was texting one of our dear friends who actually has come on the Super Review show as well. I don't know if he's gonna listen to this or not, but I mean, I'll text him the 21st night of September. And I'll say, do you remember? And he said, the 21st night of September. Like, my man, he gets it. It's so fun. It's such a great song. And Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Every 21st hour of September.
We have a little tradition. One of us will send a text to each other. Says, do you remember the 21st night of September? My man. It's pretty funny. So it's a great song, great band, great artist.
Pretty cool.
So cool. So
that is
bottom
awesome.
line, check out Earth, Wind, and Fire if you have not. So we've hit a lot of the disco groups. We hit the Bee Gees, we hit Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you want to talk at all about any other disco groups or dance groups? Like ABBA?
I do have one in mind.
What do you got?
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
How could we forget Casey and the Sunshine Band? Casey, man. I want to put on
they actually
my boogie shoes.
My boogie shoes. They actually do my favorite disco song.
Really? What is it?
They actually do my favorite disco song. Keep it coming up. Keep it coming up. Don't stop it now. Don't stop the vote. You know that one?
That I do not.
You don't know that song, Keep It Coming, Love?
No, I'm gonna have to look it up now. This is not the shame on my part.
Shame!
Oh man, I tried so hard. But look, bottom line though, Casey and the Sunshine Band. Make a little dance. Make a little love. Get down tonight. Ooh, so good. So
down
good.
the night.
That's the way. I
Down the
like
night.
it. That's the way. Yeah.
I keep getting another one I do that song.
Yeah. Or even shake, 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 shake your booty. It's so.
It's
so
the
good.
70s. We were shaking. We were jiggy. We were getting. No, wait, that getting jiggy. That was the 90s. But we were boogieing. It was the 70s.
We were getting down tonight, man.
We were getting down tonight. It was the 70s. It was a good time.
It was the 70s. Everyone was just dancing, and even to Donna Summer as well. I mean, how can we? It's incredible. Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. Oh, it's so good. You're not gonna lie. I kind of want to see Casey and the Sunshine Band if they tour.
And let me guess, you're gonna get up and start dancing like an awkward dude, aren't you?
I'm gonna be the awkward guy just standing up and dancing already. You know, it'd be so funny.
I do not blame you for that.
I'm your boogeyman. Boogie on down. So,
and by the way, do you have your boogie shoes?
I wanna put on my boogie shoes.
My boogie shoes.
I do have my boogie shoes. I would not mind seeing them, truthfully, if they tour.
You want to put on your boogie shoes?
I do. I do, Bill. I sure do.
Not mind that at all.
So, anything else for disco at all, or are we good?
All right. So, okay. We did Casey. We did Bee Gees.
We also did Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes, we did. So many other disco groups.
There's a lot. I mean, disco was like a huge. I mean, we could talk about Donna Summer, but I don't really know that much about her. So,
oh, yeah, me neither. But we have to talk about the greatest disco song ever.
What is it?
We have to talk about the greatest disco song ever. Disco Duck.
Disco Duck? What are you talking about?
You've never heard of Disco Duck?
Oh, wait a second. Oh, no. All right, you can go off on this.
This is a real thing. I swear it's a real thing.
Oh,
what was that?
Oh, no. Go on.
This was a real song. Disco Duck. Disco Duck. Try your luck. There'll be a clock. No, this was a thing. I guess what, JT?
What?
We're not going to talk about it.
Okay, you just. Okay.
I saw you getting very scared.
I'm getting very scared already. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so.
Nah, you know what? We don't have to talk about it. I was busting your chops.
Okay, thank you. Disco Duck.
I'll send you the song later if you want.
Want
me to send you the song later?
Oh my God. Please do. Please do.
It is the greatest yet dumbest thing ever.
It really is.
So anyway. Okay. Anything else for disco? You know, Donna Summer had, I really like that song. Let's Dance. The Last Dance.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that one.
Last Dance by Donna Summer.
Yeah, The Last Dance.
Yeah, we'll talk about Donna Summer for a sec.
I don't really know much about her, so
I can share a little bit of some stuff, okay?
Oh, okay. Sharing stuff is fun.
So Donna Summer, one of the biggest, most successful disco acts out there. She, in fact, had a song. I've listened to it It's 16 minutes long. $16 minutes long.
What song is it?
It's called Love to Love You, Baby. It's a disco song, but because back in the day, they would make these disco songs really long so people could dance to them. But this one was like really, really, really hot and heavy stuff. So I got to tell you, like, if you listen to Love to Love You, Baby, to this day, like the 16-minute cut, it's like, so yeah, if you really want to, I'm just putting it out there on the internet. If you want to spice up your life to any extent, have a good night one night, check out Donna Summer's Love to Love You, Baby. It's like 10 minutes of singing and 16 minutes of a lot of not singing. So oh my God.
So yeah, you got 20 minutes of, or was it 16 minutes?
Literally, the song is 16 minutes long. I gotta find this. Hold on. It's literally the song itself. Hold on a sec. The song is literally 16 minutes and 48 seconds. That's ridiculous. And it was a huge hit too. Huge. It was one of the first disco hits.
Huge hit.
Huge. It was like, okay, where's the chart history? On the Billboard Hot 100, it was number 2. It was a huge, huge hit. I think the radio edit was 5 minutes, and then that version was hit number 2 on the Hot 100, which is crazy. I just can't believe that. Like, I can't believe like a 16-minute song was that. Like, that wasn't the version that charted though, but still, that's, oh my God, it's a crazy song, but it's really just 16 minutes. It was like, oh my God, wow, I'm still listening to this. But Love to Love You, Baby by Donna Summer. If you have not heard it, check it out. It's really, really good. It's like one of the first disco hits out there too.
One of the first ones.
One of the first disco hits is 1975 or 6. So I've listened to it. I'm like, whoa. It's 16, almost 17 minutes long. But that's because they want people to dance to it.
So you've listened to all 16 minutes of it.
I sure have, Bill.
And do you regret those 16 minutes?
Honestly, no, because it was very entertaining to listen to. You could easily dance to it. You could easily dance to it. So, but yeah, Donna Summer hit that disco vibe pretty well back then. So that's all I really got to say about that. Anything else for Donna Summer, bud, or no?
I really like I said, The Last Dance, a pretty good song, but other than that, I don't really know much about Donna Summer.
All right.
Any more disco stuff, or are you ready to move on to like more of the soul funk?
Yeah, let's go. Let's jump in. We got a transitional artist here. Let's talk about Kool and the Gang. Let's talk about this. They were like a 70s funk band, but they had a lot of success in the 70s too. A lot of success in the 70s with like Hollywood Swinging and Jungle Boogie. I mean, they were awesome. I want to see them live too. They still tour.
Was Get Down on It in the 70s or 80s?
I think it was 78, if I'm not mistaken.
Get down on it.
Yeah. Get down.
How you gonna go down behind the wall when you're standing on the wall? Hey, JD, get your back up off the wall.
That song was in my head for about 2 weeks, and I could not get it out.
Get your back up off the wall. Get your back up off the wall, JT.
Tell me, how you gonna do it if you really don't want to
dance by standing on the wall? Get your back up off the wall.
Tell me, baby.
You know it. You're dancing, yeah.
I mean,
You
Kool and
know
the
it.
Gang is one of those bands that just has never gone away. I want to see them
You
live.
wanna dance.
So Celebration was the number one hit in 1980, but that was like their number one hit. But Ladies Night, oh my God, so good.
For it's ladies' night and the feeling's right. Oh yes, it's ladies' night. Oh what a night.
They hit their stride in the 70s. They formed in 1964, but they've been touring a long time too. I mean, their biggest success was in the 70s, like stuff like Jungle Boogie, stuff like Hollywood Swingin', stuff like what do you call it? Stuff like Ladies Night, stuff like Too Hot or Fresh. These are great songs, guys. Celebration was 1980, though.
Yes, it was.
So, but Kool and the Gang. I'm a big Kool and the Gang guy. And their lead singer's name is JT.
So hey, he's got to be a good guy then, huh?
But I think he left in 1980 or 1990 something. I gotta see. Let me just check this out.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Oh, they have had so many members. The guy Kool is still with him, but James Taylor, JT, he left in 1988. So, but he sung on a lot of their songs. They're from New Jersey too. Oh, what a Wonderful and Peaceful. I have this on vinyl. It's a really good album. It's got funk. It's got R&B in it. It's great. Get Down. You know when like the Jungle Boogie song? Get down, get down, get down, get down. You know, they played in like the Pulp Fiction movie.
Jungle Boogie. Wow. Jungle Boogie.
That
yes,
one.
I do know that.
They play that's from this album. Hollywood Swing is another one. So good, guys. So good. Jungle Boogie's great. Hollywood Swing is great too. What's the other? And the other album I have is Ladies Night, which was 1979. This is actually really good. This is more disco than it is funk and R&B, but it's still great. So, oh yes, it's Ladies Night and the feelings are what a night, you know. And Too Hot, Ladies Night. These are great songs, guys. If you've not heard of Kool and the Gang, get on it. They are so good. They are so
JT, don't get on it. Get down on it.
Get down on it. Down, down, down. Get down on it.
And remember, get your back up off the wall.
Tell me, baby.
Anyone want to dance by standing on the wall?
When you talk about some of the best funk, best R&B, and the best disco, Kool and the Gang has to be on that list. They're just that good. It's so true.
So true.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Like I really got into them the past couple of years. They still tour to this day. It's crazy.
Wow. They still tour.
They still tour and they still perform anywhere they go. I think they were just in Spain, actually. Now I think
God bless them, but they still tour.
Yeah, their lead singer's like 7? Like the guy Kool. Kool and the Gang is their lead singer, Robert Kool-Bell. He's 71 years old, but he's fantastic. So he was the founding member of Kool and the Gang, and he wrote Get Down on It was 1981, but that's okay. We'll talk. It's okay that we talked about it. Get down on it, do. Get down on it, bum bum bum.
Okay, what should we go to next?
All right, so we just talked about a lot of the funk and R&B and whatnot. What did we want to talk about? Because new wave was more in the 80s, but do you want to talk about like punk rock?
Yeah, because I forgot about punk rock. We also got to get to like Marvin Gaye, the Jacksons, Stevie Wonder.
Let's talk about Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder now, and then we'll end on the punk rock stuff. This was like the
Yeah,
late
because
70s anyways.
I forgot about the punk rock stuff, and if I don't get to the punk rock stuff, who's gonna give me an earful?
Matt Hemsley.
Not just Matt Hemsley,
Doctor
Dr. Matt Hemsley.
Yes.
Remember, he is one of the few people whose names we have to call them by their title, along with Sir Elton John and Sir Paul McCartney.
And Sir Ringo Starr, how could we forget?
Oh, wait, is he been knighted? Or?
I'm pretty sure. So
Okay.
All right. But Marvin Gaye.
Okay, so yeah.
Let's talk about him. You can go first.
His songs are just so iconic. Like,
I agree.
Heard it through the grapevine. Like, I heard it through the grapevine, which, come on, who doesn't know that song, wants to just obnoxiously sing along to it?
Absolutely.
Heard it through the grapevine. Especially, and the song that you want to take your special someone, dim the lights down, 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 down. Trying, baby, trying to hold back this feeling for so long. What's going on? Great song, but you know what song? My favorite Marvin Gaye song, and I think it's very poignant to today.
Which one?
What's Going On?
Oh, yeah. That's a very powerful song.
I think that song is actually very relevant till today.
I agree. 100%. I totally agree with you on that.
I think that song is very relevant to today because we always ask ourselves,
what's going on?
What's going on? What's going on here, JT?
I don't know, Bill. A lot of stuff today.
In all seriousness, the song about the opening lyrics to that song, Mother, Mother, there are too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there are far too many of you dying.
Yeah.
We have to find a way to get some love in here today. And we ask ourselves, what's going on? What's going on?
Absolutely.
But my favorite part of that song is, brother, brother, everybody thinks we're wrong. Who are they to judge us just because our hair is long?
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye just really knows his music really knows how to speak to all generations, and his music is timeless.
Absolutely. 100%.
JT, your thoughts on Mr. Gaye?
I think when you talk about great vocalists, when you talk about some of the best influential artists, people in general, I feel like Marvin Gaye is talked about a lot in that conversation as well. The dude has been, was a pioneer of sorts of certain types of music, like stuff like Let's Get It On, Sexual Healing, What's Going On. It's funny. I was watching a documentary at one point about the 70s as a whole. And by the way, if you've not seen the CNN documentary series, the 70s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, they do like a whole breakdown of the whole decade by different categories. And I watched the 70s music one to prep for tonight as well. And they talked about Marvin Gaye, and it's funny. Marvin Gaye, they said how in the 1960s he was clean shaven, he was clean, he didn't have a beard, he was very respected, and all that changed in the 70s. And they said, I think the guy's name was Questlove. He was one of the Roots from Jimmy Fallon's band. He was being interviewed. He's like, "Hey, I'm selling records like
Questlove."
Yeah. Questlove said, that Marvin Gaye was selling records like the Beatles were back in the 60s, huge amount of records from Motown, whatever, right? But at the same time, he wanted to have that artistic statement. And then he made What's Going On, like what, 73, 74. And you're right, that song still holds up to this day about just life in general, but because he was looking at Vietnam. He had a brother in Vietnam, I found out too. So there are archived interviews on YouTube if you would like to check them out. I'm not going to leave it in the description of this video of our live stream, but if you when this is uploaded separately to a separate video, I will leave a link for the interview that I listen to sometimes, truthfully, from 1972 or 3 with Marvin Gaye being interviewed, I think, for like an hour on the BBC radio, and it's just him talking about his life and stuff like that. Very, very fascinating stuff. So check that out as well. There's a guy on YouTube called Raised on Radio. Raised on Radio is a really good YouTube channel that does archive interviews and stuff. And they had Marvin Gaye on in like the 70s. And he talked about his life. He was in like a band called the Rainbows at one point. Very interesting stuff to hear him talk about. But Marvin Gaye, if you've never heard of him, he's a very, very influential person amongst a lot of musicians. Look up to him. Certain people like idolize his songs specifically. One of the songwriters of all time too. He was a revolutionary, and he is deeply missed too, as far as just generically stating that too. So the dude has been,
and the way he left this earth is like absolutely tragic as well.
Yeah, you want to go into that or no?
I'll give you the
Cliff Notes.
The short version. He was shot and killed by his own father.
That's terrible.
Well, not that I'm defending his father. His father did, and it did turn out his father had like some mental health issues, and I think he had like a tumor. He had like a brain tumor or something, and that caused him to do it. Which I'm not defending his father, but yeah, it's just such a tragic way to go, to get shot by your own father. And
very, very sad.
He is
very emotional too.
You know, what was that?
He was what? I'm sorry.
He was one of the most iconic. You know that voice. You know the music, and Marvin Gaye is just one of those.
Yeah, he left us way too soon.
Yeah, like Heard Through the Grapevine, Sexual Healing, What's Going On, Let's Get It On, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. What was that? 60s? No, that was 70s, I think.
Ain't No Mountain High Enough was Motown in the 60s. That's when he was like with Tammy Terrell and doing stuff. In the 70s, he was a changed person too. So
yeah, well, I wonder what changed him.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but he did a big shift, and he made music that was very, very it changed the world, for lack of a better word.
He did.
So, but Marvin Gaye, what's up?
No, go on, continue.
No, I was going to just kind of conclude that one thing. I was going to say Marvin Gaye is one of the most iconic singers. He had a great voice, and he had a lot of great music to go with him. So, if you haven't already, check out all of his work. If you can, just listen to everything he put out over his lifetime. Whatever Spotify has, just check it out. So, really great stuff. Very, very emotional too. A lot of it. Some good, some fun. Like Let's Get It On is great, but let's be real. So he was a pioneer. All right. Who's the other guy you want to talk about?
Okay, okay, folks. Okay, since Marvin Gaye was part of Motown, I think it's safe that we talk about this next group. All right, this is something you folks got to know about Motown in the 70s. Like in the 60s was like if everyone knows the rank tier system, the 60s was like their golden era, their S tier years with, when they had stuff, when they had the Temptations and the Four Tops and the Supremes.
Yep.
We talked about that last week. If you want to go get more detail about that, we talked about that last week when we talked about the 60s. Motown in the 70s, the early part of it was more like the A tier, but then they kind of dwindled. But one of the groups that was probably one of the last big successes of Motown were five boys. Tito, Marlon, Jackie, Jermaine, and of course, Michael. The Jackson 5. Oh, baby, give me one more chance. Okay, they if you want to get technical, they were signed in like the late 60s.
They were one of the last Motown classic groups.
Yeah, they were one of the last Motown classic groups, the Jackson 5. And like their first big record was, of course, I Want You Back, which I'm going to be honest, I freaking love that song. I freaking love that song, I Want You Back. Like every time I just want to get up and start dancing. Now it's much too late for me. Take a second look. Oh, baby, give me one more chance. Yeah, I know that sounded awful. Anyway, but yeah, it was that ABC. I think they were one of like the first groups, I'll be there, to have all four of their first singles to go to number one.
That's crazy.
They were just like, I actually have had heard stories because to prep to talk about this, I actually watched the Jackson mini series from the 90s called Jackson's An American Dream.
Okay.
There were actually times like when the Jackson 5 was playing concerts, girls because they wanted to get, because they wanted to be in contact, like in human contact with them. They literally snuck into the hotel and snuck into the hotels and they literally snuck into the hotels and hid under the beds.
That's crazy.
Like this was like Beatles level craziness. And okay, there were child stars before them, but the Jacksons were kind of like the early examples of child stars, once you think about it, when it came to the music business.
I mean, they really were. I mean, Michael, how old was Michael back then,
Michael was like 10, 12. And you know what the craziest thing is? And I think I may have talked about this before. When the Jacksons were auditioning for Motown, Berry Gordy didn't want to sign them. He didn't want to listen to them at first.
Really? Why not?
His assistant basically had to beg him to go to the audition. Because he said, I don't like kid acts. We got to deal with labor laws and all that. And I don't want to deal with all that. And he goes, but Mr. Gordy, they're really good. You got to give them a listen. Please go. Okay, fine. I'll give him the courtesy of listening to them. And then after that, we move on. And then when he went in and went to the audition, the Jacksons look at him and he goes, so what you think? He goes, very, very nice. I'll give you guys a call later. And he walks out and his assistant tells their manager / father, Joe Jackson. Oh, we'll talk about him in a second. Manager / slash his assistant talked to Joe Jackson, said, "We'll give you a call later in the day." Going, is that a good thing or bad thing? Because I don't know. I got to talk to him. And they're walking out, and the assistant goes to him. So, what do you think, Mr. Gordy? Going, they were amazing. Sign them. I already have ideas.
That's awesome.
Like at first, he was very reluctant. He's like, give them the pen. Yeah, guys, here's your pen. Sign. Let's get to work. So Berry Gordy signed the Jacksons, and for a while, they were the biggest celebrities on earth.
For a little while, yeah.
They became really big. Okay, we can't talk about the Jacksons without talking about their asshat of a manager / father, Joe Jackson. I'm going to be straight up honest with you folks. Joe Jackson was a freaking jerk.
Go on, bud. Talk to me.
I don't know if you heard, the guy was a jerk. The guy was an absolute ass. And there were stories that he actually hit the kids. Okay, and if anybody goes, well, I was smacked when I was young and I grew up fine. Shut up. Just shut the hell up. Please. Don't hit your freaking kids. Don't. There's better ways to discipline them than hitting them. But yeah, and listen, Joe Jackson has since passed away. May he rest in peace. But no, I think there were stories about the stuff with Michael later on, and about later on what happened in his life with certain incidents. But a lot of them could have been formulated to his childhood, because once you think about it, Michael didn't really have a childhood. JT, once you think about it, Michael Jackson didn't really have a childhood.
That's very sad.
There were stories that when Michael was 10, 11, 12 years old, and he was just tired from doing the show, and he didn't want to do another show, and the group was flying, there were stories that Joe Jackson basically had to drag him on the plane.
That's crazy.
There were basically stories that Joe Jackson had to drag Michael on the plane because and Michael was kicking and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael was kicking and screaming like a toddler. And there is something, I gotta look this up because I actually want to have my facts straight here.
Yep, take your time, bud.
I'm checking this out here, so to make sure, because JTF here, JTF, just the facts here. Okay, there were actually okay. I'm looking at this right now. There are but there was a rumor, and I am seeing some stories here, but I'm just saying these are rumors. I don't know how true they are. But there were rumors that Joe Jackson actually gave Michael Jackson hormone blockers so his voice wouldn't change.
For real?
I heard that. I just looked it up. I don't know how true that is, but I heard that he actually gave him medication so his voice wouldn't change.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, as you could tell, Joe Jackson was not the best human being, and listen, if Prince or Paris or any of the Jackson family is watching this, if that is true or false, please tell us. Please tell us if it's true or false. If it's false, I will come on here and retract and admit I was wrong, and I will give the Jackson family an apology if that was false. But and I'll own it. I will take the L and come on here and apologize. But yeah, that's the rumor. But yeah, but you know what? Like, what turns out, like, in the later year of the Jackson 5, and it was kind of interesting, is they actually, I think like 76, they actually ended up leaving Motown and went to CBS Records. And one of the reasons is, okay, I don't know what the official, but I don't think Joe Jackson really liked Berry Gordy.
Could be the case.
Because Michael sort of looked to Berry Gordy as a father figure.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when Michael Jackson passed away, Berry Gordy actually gave one of the eulogies at his funeral, and he said, Michael was like a son to me. And
okay.
And another thing is, Jermaine, one of the other Jacksons, actually got married to Berry Gordy's daughter.
Oh, I heard that though. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've said that before. And, you know, in the miniseries that I watched, Joe Jackson said, Berry Gordy's not going to be satisfied until one of my boys are calling him daddy. And after the wedding, Joe was just very spiteful towards Berry Gordy. Because when he was like talking about stuff, the boys were going, but Dad, don't we got to talk to Mr. Gordy? He goes, to hell what Mr. Gordy says.
Oh, wow.
So I think Mr. Jackson was very spiteful towards Mr. Gordy, towards Berry Gordy after that. But anyway, the Jackson 5 actually left Motown, and Motown actually sued them for breach of contract.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
In their later albums, they went from the Jackson 5 to the Jacksons. And that was because, and it all had to do when the Jackson 5 was leaving Motown, because Motown owned the rights to the name, the Jackson 5.
Okay.
They owned the rights to the name.
Yeah.
So that's why when they went to CBS Records, they changed it to just the Jacksons, because Motown owned the rights to the Jackson 5, and Jermaine was replaced by Randy Jackson, not the American Idol judge. And because since at the time, like I said, Jermaine was married to Hazel Gordy, Berry Gordy's daughter, he ended up staying in Motown. And the boys, after they disbanded, you know, a few of them had minor solo success. And then Michael, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We will talk about that next week. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the Jackson 5. Any thoughts of all the doctoral thesis I just gave you?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, again, I just want to reiterate the whole hormone blocker things. That is a rumor. I'm neither confirming nor denying if it's true or false. Okay. But I heard it and I looked it up. So I just want to say it's not 100. I don't know if it's true or false. So if any of the Jacksons are watching, please don't sue me, and please tell us if that was true or not. But okay, speaking of Motown, you know who we also got to talk about?
Who?
Mr. Stevie Wonder.
Yes. How can we forget? Look at him. Need we say more?
He's just amazing. The guy is freaking amazing. He really is. What do you think?
I agree. He is one of the best.
What is your favorite Stevie Wonder song?
A Higher Ground, actually.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Right?
I really like that one.
Me too.
My favorite, I'm gonna have to say, "Here I Am, Baby." Oh yeah, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to say, "Signed, sealed, delivered." That is a really good song. Who doesn't like Superstition? I really like Superstition.
Oh, that's a good one too. I keep forgetting about that one.
Because JT, Superstition ain't the way.
Ain't that the truth there, buddy?
Yeah, so God, I can talk about this guy for hours. A song that I've actually been listening to a lot lately, and I think it's a very underrated song. It's called "Love's in the Need of Love Today."
I haven't heard of that one.
I don't know if you ever heard that song or not.
I have not. No,
You?
I haven't. No.
It's from his 1976 album, Songs in the Key of Life.
Oh no, I've heard of the album. I haven't heard of the song though.
It's actually the opening track.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
It's the opening track. So go listen to it.
I definitely will.
He's just got that great singer, songwriter type. He's just so. Any thoughts on Stevie?
Other than that, he's such a really, really, really one of the best out there doing it still. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Okay, you ready to wrap this thing up? We got to talk about one more thing.
What do you got?
We got to talk about the punk rock of the 70s.
We do, and we have really just two bands we could talk about. If you think about it. Which one do you want to start with? The Clash?
Okay, one of them we are started with the Clash, and we are dedicating this to our dear friend, Dr. Matt Hemsley.
Dr.
Matt Hemsley! This is actually his favorite band
of all time.
Yeah, so yeah, I really love the song. Okay, London Fallen's a pretty good song, and it's a pretty good album too.
Yep.
I love the cover of that song. I fought the law, I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
That's a good one.
And what's the name of that song? Would you stand by me? You know who know? Dr. Hemsley, if you are watching this, what is the name of that song?
Stand by me.
Please.
Train in Vain.
If anyone would know. What is it?
Stand by me. Train in Vain.
Train in Vain. Okay, thank you. Because I was thinking, Doctor, if anyone would know it, it's you. But JT swooped it from you. But yeah, that's a really good one too. It kind of has that sort of rebellious 70s. They kind of have that rebellious 70s sound.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, they were parents hated them. They were like the next big thing that like parents hated because the revolution of the Clash. I mean, you want to talk about music that changed the world? The Clash changed the world. I mean, they were like they just walking down the street, they looked deadly.
They did look deadly walking down the street. And that was that 70s punk feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Them walking down the street, London calling. Yeah. Okay, you said there's only one other group to talk about?
There's one more group we could talk about tonight, and I think you know where it's going with this.
Let's go. right. Oh, is it the Ramones?
It's the Ramones. The Punk Elite themselves. I'm more of a Ramones guy than the Clash, personally, but still.
Sorry, Dr. Hemsley. I kind of agree with JT on this one.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Sorry, Doctor. But yeah, no. Like Blitzkrieg Bob. Hey, JT, what they want?
I don't know.
What is that song even about?
Looks like they're all revved up and ready to go. I have no idea.
Nobody knows what that song is about.
Yeah.
It's a song about nonsense, but it's just so fun. What about I Want to Be Sedated?
Oh, that's a great one, too. Rockaway Beach? Come on.
Rockaway Beach.
What's the other one? They also had I Want to Be Your Boyfriend. 7-Eleven. The KKK Took My Baby Away. Come on. How much more punk rock could you get?
Rock.
I mean, Joey Ramone. It's Joey Ramone, man. The guy, the whole band was great.
They were absolutely great.
So
and like I said, their music is just so much fun to listen to.
it really gets you like amped up.
Their music is just so much fun to listen to.
Yeah, and it gets you amped up. It gets you ready to go and stuff. So
it gets you amped up and jacked up and everything in between.
Absolutely, buddy. I'm a huge Ramones guy still to this day. I mean, their self-titled debut, one of the best albums of all time, hands down.
Oh, I'm not even going to debate you on that one, my friend.
I mean,
and they're from our home state too.
They're from which borough? Queens?
I don't know. They're from either Queens or Brooklyn.
I forget. I'm not sure which one, but they're so great. One of the most influential bands out there in general to this day still. So yeah.
So I guess that's our talk about the 70s, huh?
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty in-depth discussion, my guy. We really
it was pretty in-depth.
We really went in depth on a lot of stuff tonight. I mean, you want to talk about a serious discussion? We really went in hardcore stuff tonight, which is a lot of stuff. But ultimately, we want to thank you all for watching and listening. However, you enjoyed us tonight, whether you watched us on YouTube or if you listen to us on podcast form, please follow us on our social media pages, simply at The Super Review Show. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and follow us on Instagram. I want to thank this gentleman right here, Bill Murphy. Thank you so much for joining me and helping me out during the stream. Bill.
It is always a pleasure, my friend.
It's busy season, right? With the
busy season starts tomorrow. Check out us on the Sports Insanity Network. Tomorrow is going to be the season premiere of Thursday Night Gridiron.
Woo!
As we do the pregame for the Bills-Rams game tomorrow. Please go check that out. It's going to be great. It's going to be great back to talk about some football, buddy. It's going to be amazing.
Can you believe fall is
check us
already
out tomorrow.
Here?
I can't believe it. Because where we live, not giving out where we live, but where we live, kids went back to school today.
Already, yeah, it's crazy. So,
I said this last week, dude, I can't believe the summer's over.
Yep,
summer's over.
It's very sad. It's funny. I knew it was summer when it was over when the Beach Boys channel on Sirius XM went away. I was like, no, it's gone. Summer's over. Boo. So, but yeah. But we want to thank you all for watching, listening. Check out the Sports Sanity podcast on all platforms, as Bill just mentioned. And thank you for listening to us. We will tune in next week for part 3. Hopefully, we're going to go really long on that one, too. For the 80s, the 1980s. One of the most powerful decades in music history.
Oh, I am so excited for this one next week. You?
I'm stoked. Can't wait. We're gonna start even earlier, like 7:00 or whatever. So because it's gonna be a crazy day that day. So for us here at the Super Review Show. But look for more videos coming up. We'll see you guys next week. So for all of us here at the Super Review Show, stay safe and take care.
Take care.